Peace to y'all, it's the Ringside Club Paul. A.O. Blame Boogie, Chad Law. The power's back, triple power bomb. The big dog trio in the stream yard. Go outside, hit the venue guard. It's all love when you see us, Lord. Back to the pad, on air for the pod. Ringside Club, intro to the squad. Let the show start. What? Peace, 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 peace to you and yours, man. Thursday night live, 9:05 live. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Ringside Club. This is episode 117. It's not an even number, but it's a great number. 117 episodes of them things like we usually do, broadcasting live from the Empire Tri-State every Thursday, coming to you. For starters, before we get into any introductions and reintroductions, want to let everybody know and eye and ears reach, this is indeed the Ringside Club. You can follow us across all social media. That's Twitter, X. My apologies. Threads.
Call it Twitter.
I'm gonna call it what his mama named.
Don't succumb. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever his mama named it, that's his name. Resist. So yeah, we're up there on Twitter, we're there on Threads, we're there on TikTok, we're there on Instagram. Of course, right now we're broadcasting live on the aforementioned Twitter/X plus YouTube, and you can catch the on demand if you don't catch us live on YouTube, plus the audio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other podcast platforms. With that being said, we're going to reintroduce ourselves, and then we're going to introduce our two distinguished special first-time guests right here. Nah, Rick, you've been here.
Nah, not the first time.
My apologies.
It's okay.
It's been a little while though, but you know,
it's
been a while.
Now you know we got what they say in sports radio, like first time, long time.
Yeah.
We got a first time, we got a long time. But before we get to the introductions, my name is A.O. Baker. You can find me everywhere. Actually, no, you can't. Chad, what up?
The kid CHAD Younger Diver himself in the Spiz-9E right now, ready to talk some graps. Got some raps for you too. Make sure to check out the first listens. See your first listen across my TikToks, Instagram, social media, all that. I got the latest album reviews going up. Catch a new batch going on tomorrow. When y'all see me in that PMF act, y'all know to go cop. You know what I'm saying? PMF, pardon my fresh, get them pieces. Gadavi gang, get them pieces as well too. You know what I mean? And we over here about to get right. Feeling nice. In the spot.
Perfect time to salute and cheers. Now, directly below my box, longtime friend, live off of.
That was kind of crazy.
All right, my man.
That was kind of wild.
Fresh out of the six, fresh out of Toronto. He was live in the building for a lot of historic moments, representing the Kings of the Rings podcast. Of course, the Wrestle Addict Radio GM, the good sir King Rickie Rozay. What up, bro?
I'm still in shock. I mean, you were one of my first contacts after everything happened,
right?
And Chad, I don't know if you know this story, but I literally texted Ayo and I was like, I need a wellness check. mind you, I have a master's in mental health counseling, and so that tells you how the event went for me.
Pandemonium.
So definitely told me. He hit me right after that was over. He was like, "Yo, Rick want to be on a pod next week. You want to recap?"
That was one of the fastest podcast bookings I think we ever did. I was record like the post show for the pay-per-view was booking this show.
Pretty much. When I texted you that request, I hadn't even left the Skydome. I hadn't left the arena.
What was the let out? Like, how long did it actually take you to get back to the car, or at least get out of the door?
Really quick. So the way that the Skydome is set up, it's right in downtown Toronto. Like, you can literally take a train and you're right there. But the way that the Skydome's set up is actually one of the most beautiful setups I've seen for just any singular arena. Is that it's a dome, so it's circular, but there's like 15 to 20 gates around the entire thing. So you don't wait for anything. You can literally just walk in and walk out anywhere. So it works out real well. So like the getting out of it was no problem at all.
Got you.
It was
Opposite of
dope.
how we had it for WrestleMania.
Yeah, WrestleMania was the opposite.
WrestleMania, you were waiting the minutes.
Yeah.
That was nuts in Philly. Like I think one night for the first night.
First
night was
we
kinda
didn't-
rough.
yeah, first night we didn't actually even go to Mania. We went to a watch party nearby.
Word.
And the
Word?
traffic
Okay.
from the let out still impacted us getting like to the car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty crazy.
The night Cody won, though, that was the night we literally sat in the parking lot and probably
a couple
listened
hours.
to Ayo threw on a pod, and I think we got through the whole pod before we got to the exit.
Yeah.
Yo, this is insane. This was the worst pay-per-view I've ever seen.
Yeah, we're already getting like the instant reactions and the bury it. Like, we're still trying to make a left. We just want to make a left.
Yo, dog, we didn't even get out of the parking lot and
Get
they
us
already
to
saying
I-95.
buried.
Yeah,
They saying buried, and we still here like, damn, this is a live pod right now.
Of course, we have another special guest, first time guest.
It's my guy.
It's her birthday. What's up? Welcome to the Ringside Club, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good to be here, man. Thanks for having me. You know, like I'm Chad is an old friend of mine. I'm saying from way back, and you know we're very familiar with each other in the music space. So it's cool to like talk and chop shop in another space. You know, we usually talk raps, but it's cool to talk raps
into the community,
tonight,
my
so
boy. Welcome.
I'm hyped. I'm ready.
Happy
Funniest
birthday,
thing
my
is,
dude.
man.
That's exactly how Chad and I
Yeah,
connected, but the opposite. Like I was DJing and blogging for I Standard at the time, so it was music. He was in music. We linked because of that, and then talked like 1% about music. It was all about wrestling. It's like, oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. And then it just came to a point where like, yo, we doing separate wrestling content. We might as well just make this.
Might as well just link it up.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
117 episodes later. They
There we
still
are.
saying y'all boys holding it down on Thursday night. So salute to y'all and we appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all smash and hit that like and subscribe button. Hate to sound like a content creator, but it just goes to name of the game.
But you're a content creator, so you got
Content
to
creator.
Smash that like button, guys.
click, smash, all the fun stuff.
Turn the notification bell on. Before we go any further, this of course is brought to you by Wrestle Hats, that Wrestle Hats collection by part of my fresh, the first joint, that trucker, that everything is pro wrestling leather trucker. This will be dropping on 3/16 day. Make sure you get it, man. This is classic material. This is actually quality material. I have all of my branding all over this, and feels really, really good when you put it on top of the dome, man. So make sure you pick that up. 3/16 day, of course. Everything is pro wrestling at WrestleHats.com. Chat, where are we going?
Let's start with some AEW. Let's get it out the way first, because I feel like Rickie gonna go in depth with his Elimination Chamber stuff.
But yeah, I got.
You know, and I feel like it's been a hot topic all week. Everywhere you turn, everyone's talking about Cena and what's going on, and we'll get to that. Y'all want to hear what we got to say, but we'll get to that. Let's talk AEW for a bit. Let's knock these predictions out the way. The pay-per-view is this Sunday. Revolution.
I have the card pulled up. Looks like we have 9 matches on the actual show, on the pay-per-view itself. 1 match, Big Boom AJ returns for
still
the pre-show.
The mystery match that we spoke about.
Yeah.
Any guess, fellas, who Big Boom AJ has a match against on the pre-show?
No, not a clue. It could be anybody in the wrestling world, like anybody that NXT or TNA hasn't picked up yet. So I honestly don't know. I mean, WWE had just had their recent round of cuts a couple weeks ago, so it's none of them. Maybe the guy formerly known as Baron Corbin. That could be a thing. Was it Tom Preslock now or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
I don't think on a pre-show. I think if anything, we get another QT Marshall run back. Big pop, cheap heat.
I think, yeah, I think that's what's coming. I think we like Costco too much, so gonna be a win for Costco. That's what I'm thinking.
Big Boom AJ's the guy.
Chocolate chip cookies, man.
It's just kind of wild that like they haven't capitalized.
Double dog chocolate chip.
I don't think they really have used Big Boom AJ the way they could have on the viralness. But I mean, I guess he ain't. The blowback has been paused. Like he ain't a wrestling guy.
But I mean, like
he's wrestling though.
He's a wrestling guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was a wrestler like back in the whatever days. So I
I
don't know.
think it. I think it works. I don't think he should be pre-show. Like I'm in the minority. I think he should be. He should be intermission on the main show. Like he should be like instead of a bathroom break match. Like there should be a Big Boom AJ on the main card. And like
It'd be a nice shakeup in the middle because you know you can grab. So a nice little lightweight, big
you
boom
feel me?
AJ 10 minute.
Save the opening slot for a match that really does not have to be Brian Cage and Lance Archer, or Brian Cage versus Commander. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm cool with the pre-show 0 hour being a
Yeah.
solid match. It doesn't have to be Brian Cage, but it could be anybody. But we got 9 matches. Let's
Yeah,
go
9
through.
matches. What I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run them through. I'm gonna read them through. Then I want to know which match all of us are actually looking forward to the most after I run through the card. Then we just get into some quick who's winning, who's losing type predictions. But we have Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. That would be in a steel cage. We have Okada versus Brody King. Okada, of course, is defending the Continental Championship. We have MJF versus Hangman Adam Page. We have the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, defending the tag team titles and definitely hurting people. They will be hurting the Outrunners, Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum. Mercedes Moné against Momo Watanabe for the TBS Championship. Swerve versus Ricochet, #1 contender for the AEW World Championship, is on the line. We have Timeless Tony Storm defending the women's title against Mariah May. That's Falls Count Anywhere. We have Takeshita versus Kenny Omega for the International Championship. And for the AEW World Championship, we have the Rated R superstar Adam Copeland challenging the champion John Moxley. So with that card, Rick, I'll start with you. Which of those matches actually jumps out as one or maybe two that you're looking forward to the most here?
Osprey and Kyle Fletcher just go together really well. So they're going to get a quality match out of that. And the other big one for me is Ricochet and Swerve, because at this point, it's getting close to make or break for Ricochet. Like he's on that cusp of like maybe he has something here, or Swerve can squash him, and like all right, maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, his momentum could be I think character-wise, he's knocking it out the park. Like this is the most interesting and interested I've been in Ricochet. But like as far as trajectory right now, creatively, it'd be interesting if they give him that big win to set up a title match, or what happens when Swerve beats him. What's next for Ricochet? So, yeah.
Berkeley was the match.
Yeah, I think for me, I when I was looking at the card, a lot of them I was like, okay, I think I could predict this, predict that. Like we kind of already know Mercedes is gonna win that, so I'm not, For me, I'm looking at the coin flips, and I think the MJF and Adam Page. I feel like that could go either way because MJF kind of needs like a little momentum going into like the latter half of the year. And I don't know. I feel like Adam Hangman Page, he could like lose matches. It's not gonna like really hurt him at the current moment. I don't know. But then again, I don't really know. I'm not too well versed, but that's just like my gut feeling. And I kind of want to see the Osprey match. I know he's like really, really like a big favorite, but like from my understanding, this could end up being like a thing where Kyle Fletcher could end up winning through like, not cleanly, but he might end up winning. So I don't know. Those are the two things that I'm gonna be looking for in Revolution. And Revolution for me is gonna be like where I'm gonna be like, because I don't watch AEW weekly. But I'm probably gonna really start like from Revolution onward, so I could like really lock in on the stories. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to have someone who's not too familiar with AEW. I wanted to actually see and have our RSC audience see in real time. Like, all right, we do interact with people that are just like still fresh to the AEW product. Because for a time I caught some flack because I was beating down AEW like the rest of us until we decided to convert over to positivity and clean. We're in the PG era, and we all love AEW. We love Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of started off with like, I don't really know because even with like the super light chops that Orange, like I was like okay, but after like kind of like really understanding it a little bit and just like really feeling out the characters, like, all right, now I kind of get it, and I see it for what it is. It's obviously not like WWE, the golden product who's been developing since the beginning of time. But like I can appreciate like what AEW is, what it's doing, and it's definitely like yo, it's reviving Ricochet's career, man.
Agreed.
Come on, man. Like he was getting lost in the sauce in WWE,
I
bro.
agree.
If
You
I'm
know
being
what?
honest.
I say AEW all the time is like Mad TV to me. And when you watch it, sometimes moving forward, like
Yes.
you get the vibe. This feels like Mad TV sometimes. Like it's good, it's great, and then there's just some
Yeah.
moments where you're like, yo, what is this? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, like
MJF pouring the lighter fluid
Yes.
on
I
Hangman
like it
last
though. I
night,
kind of
and
like
then
it.
just getting. I was like, this is the Mad TV moment, man.
There's always one.
Yeah. I thought the giant scissor was so funny to me. Like, all right, bro, sign the contract,
Yo,
Ricochet.
geez, a
Sign the
suit and that
contract.
snapback fitted is nasty.
Oh.
It's a
Oh
nasty
my
fit.
god, it was
That
horrendous, but I
was on, and
loved
my
it. It
wife
was so
caught that
good.
that one part you just mentioned, birthday, the scissors, and he fell over the back of the table. She's like,
Yeah.
What are you watching? Really? Like,
That's when
and
you
those,
say to yourself, you are
And
now
then
watching
he really
Mad
started
TV.
bleeding. The TV.
So yeah,
yeah.
And he was bleeding. I
I,
loved it. It
I
was
thought
good,
I
man. It
thought
was
it was
good. I
good.
liked it. Let's get
I
more.
think
And to your
Let's
point,
tap
man,
in.
like I think like this time of year to tap in fully to AEW makes sense because this is the first pay-per-view they had this year. You know what I mean? Like they start late. You know, I'm
Yeah,
so used
because
to
Grand Slam didn't count at all. Grand Slam was just Collision in the
yeah,
Skies,
that was TV.
which is such a letdown because we did a prediction episode for that, and I was like, oh wait, it's Collision.
Collision.
Yeah, this is TV.
Yeah, I was like, this is a waste.
This is episode 117.
A
Yeah.
TV ticket.
I think if I gotta go, one of my matches I'm looking forward to is the main event. I'm gonna go with the left. I'm gonna go with the main event. I'm looking forward to, just because of all the variables that are tied in, and then Swerve and Ricochet would be next. I think that one's gonna be really good, just because of what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? The stakes that are there, and the seeds that got planted on Dynamite, I really feel like are gonna set the tone for what's gonna happen on Sunday. Like I think they laid it out very obviously for us. And AO and I were speaking about this like last week on Wax. So like I think it's gonna play out exactly like, you know what I'm saying? Everything has gone out from Jay White, the only gun. He's like, I'm gonna pull the trigger, like all those little I'm gonna be there to help cope. I was like, ah man, here we go. I knew it. Dick Kick City.
Slip.
Like, I knew it. Here it comes. Here it comes. You know what I'm saying? And then that's gonna veer off to Cope and Jay White. And then Mox and Swerve, because Swerve got the W, you know what I'm saying, this week. No, he lost. He lost on Dynamite. He got pinned. So you know what that means. If we go by booking
Rule of
Yeah, if you
opposite
go-
momentum. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, if you go by pro wrestling rules, we know who's taking that win.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? So it's like that sets up Swerve and Mox potentially post. And for Double or Nothing, that's if you don't include Christian Cage, like if we don't think about anything with Christian Cage in his contract, it's looking like Double or Nothing. We could see this is what we was talking about, AO, about a opponent that has a chance that we could really be like,
Does
yo,
it not make it interesting? I have a theory. See if y'all agree with me or not.
Mhm.
There is no such thing as a successful title reign, regardless of who the champion is, if there aren't interesting feuds where somebody is believable enough that I'm not sure where this is going to go. Really doesn't matter who the champion is. So this is why, like, so we get in the pattern, especially as podcasters, of man, we got to take the belt off of this person. They're stale. Okay, who have they been in a feud with? Oh, well, it's just been matches. That's not the wrestler's fault. That's the booking's fault.
It's a booking, it's
Yeah.
a booking problem.
We
I
get into that.
understand.
We get into that pattern where they switch the title, and then 10 weeks later, we're saying the same thing about this person, and then 10 weeks later, once the title switches again, saying the same thing. It's the booking. It's not the.
I will add to that a lot of time it is the booking, but sometimes it is the archetype of the character. So let's take, and listen to me when I clearly say, let's take Dean Ambrose. What
Okay.
was Dean Ambrose good at? Dean was good in the chase. Once Dean got the title, his character fell flat because he didn't have anything to chase anymore. He also went on the Stone Cold podcast and exposed himself horribly.
That didn't
That's
work.
another story for
Exactly.
another time.
Exactly.
But sometimes there are wrestlers who are good in the chase, and once the chase is finished, their character doesn't develop or evolve. That's
I'll agree.
another part of it as well.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. But I mean, like the character evolution is also part of the creative, the booking, whatever word you want to
Fair.
use for that.
Yeah.
That's figuring out, all right, once you have the championship, like what's the plan? Like, is there somebody that we've built coming up behind you or
Mhm.
parallel with you that's a real threat? And if you don't have a threat, then you just have a piece of metal on your shoulder.
Correct.
Nobody's gonna care. Real quick, match I'm looking forward to. A couple of them you guys already mentioned, but I'm gonna go with Takeshita and Omega. I think this is Omega's first. First of all, Takeshita has 2 wins over Omega in a week. So that makes this interesting to see, do we continue with that momentum or is Omega back? Like, is the real Omega back? We haven't had babyface Omega in, at the top of the card in so long. He hasn't been healthy, and then even when he was the champion, he was a heel at that time. So just to see, like, I had the theory of Omega comes back and he's the guy to dethrone Mox. It seems like that's not the path that AEW is on, but he will be challenging for the international championship. And if he wins that definitely raises, you have a former world champion now as the international champion and a guy who at any given time is in the top 10, top 5 that, critics and pundits and podcasters say is the best in the world. So that's interesting to me. You know what I mean? Like, what's his trajectory and what happens with these other titles? At some point this year, do we get any kind of consolidation of titles or, what's next for him? But I'm gonna go with Takeshita versus Omega. I mean, just bell to bell. We already know what type of time they're on. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, real quick, we're gonna run down match by match. We can just give wins, losses, maybe a sentence or two, because we could spend the rest of the podcast on this. But Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher steel cage match. We can start Rick, birthday, Chad, and then back to me. Go in that order for these. Rick, who do you see winning this steel cage match, Fletcher versus Ospreay?
Ever since he cut his hair and went the whole like Slim Shady way, I love Kyle Fletcher. I think his character is fantastic. Ever since he became what he called him, a proto star.
Yeah.
Don Callis is a name making machine. I like Kyle Fletcher. I really do. It's a steel cage match. There's no rules that this favors the heel. Also, Ospreay's getting kind of stale to me. There's only so many times you can be an Assassin's Creed variant for a while before it starts getting down. Like Kyle Fletcher's just a more intriguing character to me than Ospreay. So I'm gonna go Kyle.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with that one. Also, because I feel like Will Ospreay, he always kind of wins, even as someone that doesn't really know it that much. Like, I'm familiar with him because he always wins, and I feel like this would be like a good time for someone else to probably like beat him in like a cool moment, like Revolution. So I don't know. That's just me wanting to see it. I guess I want to see Kyle Fletcher win. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Let's see, man.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm still new to the AEW.
Ospreay needs that W. Ospreay needs that W. And
you think Ospreay needs it? I don't know.
He just dropped a Chris Van Vliet interview. He's got to win. How do you drop a Chris Van Vliet interview and lose?
Yeah, you're right. Shout to CVV. He might, but I don't know. That could mean he's gonna take the loss and maybe take another direction. I don't know.
He just, He just put his heart and soul in that interview that just dropped today. So it's like he's got to pick up a W this weekend to just make it all look good. He just bigged up AEW to the fullest extent, man. Come on, he's gonna hit a hidden blade off the top of the damn steel cage, and
here's a 15-foot hidden blade is death, bro.
Yeah, here's my thing, Chad. I get what you understand about the publicity of that Ospreay gave AEW, but do you trust AEW to do the right thing from a PR standpoint? Because I don't.
Half serious when I push a Chris Van Vliet as a reason he's gonna win, but I just think it's all pointing towards Ospreay pulling out a W because he does need it. Like, he needs a good moment right now because he's been taking a lot of losses on a main stage outside of tag team matches. Singles matches he's been getting pinned. So I just think he needs a good moment, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kyle Fletcher, if he does win, what do we do next with Kyle Fletcher? Anyone?
You gotta give him. You gotta move him to a title. Like, he's been with Ospreay. He's been this Ospreay for a while. You gotta move on from him.
Ospreay needs to go into something serious. He's got to get away from the Don Callis family. Like, that's why I say he has to win. Like, after this win, it's over. Like, get out of this Don Callis vortex. he has to be at the top of the card now. Like, I don't mean like Jericho Vortex next. Like, he's got to just be. We need the next major feud because you think about it, he's feuded with everyone
Yeah.
for the most part. Has he not? I can't even think of anyone he hasn't feuded with.
Swerve.
Hangman? But
He do Swerve.
He's fought Swerve. He's fought MJF. He's fought everyone. Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho.
They did Ricochet Ospreay way too early.
I don't want to see them ever again.
Me too. I agree.
Isn't that crazy how people wanted that match for years and was like, I'm good now.
This is why you
I
don't
wasn't
give
a part of that. I was just like, cool.
Just seen a couple of times and now we're over it.
That's the thing. That's
totally
the one thing you
over it.
learn. I think who said it? Rick Rubin said it. Def Jam. He said the fans don't know what they want.
Bro.
No, we're numb
Right.
because we see it so often. AJ Styles just said in his recent interview that he just said, yo, when I got to the Indies, I had to switch my ish up because everybody was doing the same cool flips that I was doing in TNA. And now that I'm back on the Indies, what makes me different?
Yeah.
This is what made me have to become the lone wolf and become the New Japan guy because Ospreay and Ricochet and other guys were doing what I was doing. And now we're seeing the new version of, we've seen this already, Ricochet and Ospreay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now it's like, let's see Ospreay go into something serious. Like, I'm just stumped where he can go next. Like, the where they go next story is what's more intriguing than anything because I can't call it. Ospreay's feuded with everybody. You know, we're not going to fantasy book, but he is feuded with everyone.
I agree. Like, to your point, I have no idea what either of them do after this. You know what I mean? Like, even these two guys, Fletcher was Ospreay's debut TV match in AEW. So that was match one. Then since the turn, they've had at least one-on-one matches, at least 2 or 3. I think 2. I'm pretty sure 2. So not exactly sure but they can't continue fighting each other. You know, I don't know what they do, but there's no way we're getting to like, all right, how do you after the steel cage?
You know, but it's crazy because like I've said the same thing about like Sammy and KO, and now most recently like CM Punk and Seth, and now I'm just like, keep fighting at this point.
I think it works when there's new wrinkles, right? Like
understandable
for Punk and Seth. First of all,
Wendy.
crazy.
That was Samoa Joe.
Is that what Kyle Fletcher about to do?
Crazy. Man about to fly out, he passported up to go talk to Ospreay's lady.
That's what he's about to do next. Like,
oh my god,
there's only one other way to go after this feud. Like you just
man
said,
I gotta get at your moms on Collision. I got me and moms got to collide, bro.
You know what I'm saying? How do you stop after? Like you got to end it after the steel cage. Like this has got to be over. Like it's got to be the end. So
I don't know. This one. I don't know.
It'll
I think I would go with Ospreay just because I think like Fletcher could benefit. Obviously, he's on the come up, but I think Ospreay's in that upper tier, and they got to figure out what they're doing with him next as far as main event-esque programs. We're getting into Double or Nothing. We're getting to summertime. Obviously, All In is around the corner, and you want to heat them up in time for All In. So I'm gonna go with Ospreay. We have up next Okada versus Brody King. This is the Continental Championship. This is going to be a hell of a fight. Really quick, I would love to see Brody King take this championship, but I think Okada is holding on to this really until we get that probable unification match at All In against Omega. So I'm going to go with Okada to retain.
Yeah, it's real simple. Okada wins with the worst finisher clothesline I've ever seen in my life.
Ooh, not a fan of the Rainmaker.
Of the clothesline from Hell's 10 times better.
Called the finisher.
That's my only gripe against Okada is that his finisher is trash.
Fair.
Yeah, I've heard about Brody King, and I know he's cool, but I know Okada's the star, and yeah, from what I understand and what I know, I don't see any reason why he would get rid of that belt. There's no outstanding news from a new perspective that I see that would make him leave that belt. So I'm gonna go with the champ over there.
Champ.
It's so amusing that like all the top stars really do show up at all the PLEs, and that's it. In segments, like it's mad amusing that every show, like look at Grand Slam, Okada, Mercedes, Moxley, Cope, Who else I miss? Osprey.
No, that wasn't the PLE. That
Omega.
was Collision. Don't call it the PLE.
Yeah,
It's
you're right. You're right.
it's Collision.
You're right.
On the
Yeah,
brakes.
Collision.
On the
Grand
brakes.
Slam.
It was
Collision.
Collision.
So it's like, Okada's here just because he has to obligatory be here.
To be there, yeah.
He
didn't want to learn English, so
I'm
he
just
let him
here so I
speak.
don't get fined, man.
Yeah, he's like, Okada being here is just like, yeah, you're just making use of your big signing and just throwing him on the card here. Because where did this feud with Brody King? Picking up from the Hounds of Hell, but Brody King,
Yeah, I
he's
think
due for a good singles run. Even with the tag team,
He's
Brody
been
King,
due for over a year now.
he's a gem, man.
First
And
Continental Classic was like, we need that Brody King singles, and
I think he'll have his run this year
Yeah.
when he runs it back in the C2. But Okada, it's gonna be a hard fought victory, though. I'll tell you that. Like Okada not gonna be able to horse around Brody King like he has some of his other previous opponents. So it's gonna be a good dynamic, good change of pace for Brody King. You know what I'm saying? Just get to stop some of that comedy stuff and just really toss Okada around. So it'll be a good horse fight. Surprisingly enough, on Brody King's end. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be a hidden gem. That's one of the sleepers of the night. Is going to be that match.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't think most people even know that match is happening.
I did it until tonight.
yeah, it's
You know
on.
what I'm
It's
saying?
on the card, but because there's some firepower on this card, and that's when that kind of gets swept under the rug. a
That's
little
one that we live and we just like, yo,
bit. This
Okada's
too.
wrestling?
This too. That's
Yo,
like,
when they
man,
announced this?
that's like they throw like the extra wing in the box. Like, oh, good looking. Like, appreciate you.
good looking, bro.
Good looking.
Fries at the bottom of the
Yeah,
bag.
yeah.
Paid
It's like a
6. He gave me 8. That's what's up.
yeah. You caught them at the right time. Somebody's about to get off. Shit was about to end. It's like, yo, just here. You got it, guy. All right, moving on. We have MJF, Hangman, Adam Page. This is cool. This is like who's the main character of AEW is pretty much what this feud is all about. I'm going with Hangman. Surprisingly, I'm going with Hangman. MJF has been taking some losses. To that same credit, Hangman Page has been taking some losses. So I think like both of these two guys seem like they're always a win away from being in a title picture, specifically the World Championship. But Hangman's been away from it longer than MJF has. So I think at some point it'd be interesting, especially like Swerve making his way back into that contention. We always know that's a money button that you could push in any time.
Right.
So I'm gonna go with Hangman just because not that there's big implications on this. This could have been another match, like Swerve's match with Ricochet, where winner is the number one contender, just because of the pedigree of both of these guys.
Yeah.
But it's not, but it could be. So I'm gonna go with Hangman for that reason. I think like, once we get in the title program conversations, I think Hangman's a little bit closer to MJF.
I think you got to give it to MJF. It's not even because he's also from Long Island like I am, but it's more so yeah, right. But not where he's from, because why? But I think
Plainview.
Yeah, that place. Good bagels though. So the thing with MJF is like he's always supposed to be, he's kind of this outspoken character, but he's like a lot of his character hovers around the title scene. And when you have Hangman, what they established last year is that Hangman doesn't need his character to hover around the title scene. He just needs a good feud, and also they're kind of scary because he looks like a guy from the deep south in like the 1960s. There's that as well.
Yeah.
And so in that case, I think Hangman losing only benefits him because he'll just go crazier. It's like Drew McIntyre at this point. Like Drew loses, he goes crazier, and he's still kind of interesting.
Yeah.
He's still kind of interesting, even though an influencer took his buckshot lariat. Like somehow Hangman is still surviving throughout all of this,
And then did the same sequence with Punk too, like move for move.
Like, you
Yeah.
sat down and watched your double or nothing match.
I'm glad you said that because I was trying to think about like what like I would compare an Adam Page to, and he
True.
is kind of like
Yeah, that's
a Drew
perfect, man.
McIntyre guy
Spot
who's
on.
been there for mad long,
Forever haters.
and like who he could. It doesn't really matter if he takes L's or not. He's going to still be relevant. He'll still be in the big picture always, top tier picture. So I think he's gonna have to take this L. Let my son MJF from Long Island take this win, bro.
Maxwell from the island. Chat, what up?
This is tough to
Mhm.
call.
This
because
is tough. Yeah.
Hangman really could use a victory. but he's so ingrained that like even if he loses, it won't even matter.
Yeah.
Like just like Drew, it's like or Sam, it's like it won't even matter. He'll be back next week. You know what I mean? He'll be just fine. So
Right.
I'm going MJF, man. I don't want to go MJF.
M Jizzle.
I'm going MJF, man. Damn, yo.
And Jay's character needs it. Put it that way.
He don't need the wins though. Neither guy like.
It's
MJF
tough.
don't
Like
need the win.
you
more
can
than
make the
he
argument that both of them would be fine with a loss, just like both of them need the win. Like
Yeah.
MJF is coming off of what his last big match was Jeff Jarrett.
Which I was interested in that feud actually. I don't know.
I was
why.
interested. Like the feud was interesting,
It was
but
actually
like
Dustin Rhodes.
Yes, it was
All
Dustin.
right.
Yes, it was Dustin.
Great.
It went
Come
from
on,
it
man.
went from Jeff to Dustin.
yeah.
Put some respect on the Ring of Honor
But his
champion's name.
previous to that, like he lost an actual pay-per-view match, I think, to Garcia. Not Danny Garcia. Well, anyway, point being, both of these guys, like, they're in that
beat Roddy Strong, technically. Right?
right? Like,
Yeah,
what do we,
yeah,
you know
it
what I
was
mean?
it was
Yeah,
Roddy.
that's a nasty.
These
It was
aren't like
Roddy.
these aren't pedigree
That's
wins.
what I'm
here.
saying. That's what I'm saying. He needs to win because he did not say the list of names. I just people he's just beat. He has to beat Hangman now. He's got to have a win that like. We just said 3 names that you just laughed off. You were like, "Yo, come on, man."
TV
That was on
match.
pay-per-view.
Yeah, this is it. You're in super TV match, TV match mode. You're like real big boss man territory. You might get the win on Superstars, but at the King of the Ring, not so much, my boy.
It's like the Dynamite Diamond Ring. It's just like all of this got to lead to something. So just MJF.
I forgot about that. I forgot about that silly.
It's got to lead to something. Hangman got to just go even further crazy. You got to go to. He's gonna pull up to Plainview and burn the crib down.
I'll be outside too, yelling World Star. That'll be me.
Highway.
Pull up the Plainview is crazy.
Yo, he's gonna be on CGI horse on Sunrise Highway.
Yeah, I live right off Sunrise. I will film all of that.
Right by the odd lots.
Yeah.
Pulling up to the original
Big lots,
MJF house.
Yeah.
It just needs this feud ain't over. Double or Nothing's around the corner. See y'all for match 2, MJF. We on next.
We'll see Hangman in the parking lot at a Checkers near you.
Parking lot brawl, Double or Nothing.
We have the tag team. I mean, they ain't really no conversation about this one. It's the tag team match, AEW World Tag Team Championship on the line. The Hurt Syndicate will hurt the Outrunners, and that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, we heard people. Keep going.
Pretty much.
Heard people.
Shout out to the Hurt Syndicate, man.
That's
Shout
just
out
a
to
good-
Bobby Lashley. Shout out to the fellow Bobbies. That's my
Hey, peace to the Bobbies.
you know my
Yeah,
shout out to Bobby
Bobby.
Lashley's burger social media page. It's freaking amazing.
Oh, he has one?
Yeah, so once he left WWE, he started his own like TikTok and stuff. And his whole shtick is that he goes around the country looking to find the best burger joint in whatever town he's in.
Okay.
Simple.
That's cool,
Please tell me it's called Bobby's Burgers.
It's
Or Bob's
not.
Burgers. It's not called Bob's Burgers.
No, it's not called Bobby's Burgers.
Does he call it anything?
It doesn't really. It's just like his whole thing, and I'm like, you can see the joy on his face when he eats a burger. Like he's
Real
so
simple.
happy.
Okay.
Nah,
Do you
man.
remember like what's like his top that you've seen? Like, oh, this is a really good burger.
I
Like,
think he
what's
was in like
his-
Houston, and he was like he really enjoyed the burger.
that checks out. That checks
Probably
out.
that Trill Burger.
Yeah.
I think
Checks
he
out.
might have been a Trill burger actually.
Bobby was chilling with Bun B.
That's gonna be a good pop though. Like that's a good moment for the pay-per-view. Like I think that's gonna come after like Okada's match. You know what I'm saying? Like that's gonna happen after, or maybe even after the Mercedes match. Like that'll be after a match that we were kind of just like,
It's gonna happen. Yeah.
And then
That's like the Big Boom AJ spot, right? That's what we wanted for the Big Boom AJ match. Is like Outrunners are getting thrown into the crowd, bro.
The match that they should have had with the Murder Machines is the match I hope happens this Sunday, where they just get killed minus them winning. Like they're just gonna get bodied.
But you know what though? In hindsight being 2020, if you put that match versus the Murder Machines versus the match with the Outrunners, I'd take the Outrunners match because it's not like we're at a shortage of good matches, competitive matches. We know who would have won either way, but the Outrunners are just gonna be fun. They're
Yeah,
gonna do
they're
their
gonna-
entrance. We'll get the VHS, you know.
They're gonna
Okay.
get the 80s babyface butt whooping by the Hurt.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be a great visual.
Yeah, exactly. That
Who
match
do we
is gonna
see
be
next?
5 minutes and 14 seconds, man.
We are people.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So where do we go next with Her Syndicate?
Wherever, they ain't losing that title anytime soon. Line them up.
So we're just on autopilot with their reign. Is
Yeah.
this going to apply to?
They
your
can do
theory?
whatever they want, right? That's what
They-
it seems
I
like to
think-
me.
So
Is this going to apply to your theory now?
not yet, but it will get stale if by October, for example, they're still just beating people. You know what I mean? At
That's
some
still
point,
a
we
long
need some
time
calm.
from now.
They
Yeah.
also need. I like my only issue with the Hurt Syndicate is that they came in guns blazing, handing out cards to all of these African American wrestlers, and no one accepted yet.
The only one that tried
Nobody.
was Ricochet, and they sunned him. And
Well,
now
because he deserved it.
Yo, that was mad funny. I saw that. Like, nah, Ricochet is a fool. Like, I don't know. Like,
That was actually really good.
It hurt.
Looking
Yeah.
back, that was actually a good call.
Yeah, it was a great call. The thing with the
awesome
Hurt,
call.
the thing with the Hurt Syndicate is that they handed out cards to all these people. Like they have the resources and they have the wrestlers in AEW to make the Hurt Syndicate what it should have been in WWE without the WWE restrictions. Like there's no reason that look at some of your heel people. Mercedes Moné can easily join the Hurt Syndicate. It fits her character perfectly.
I'd even go a step
No.
further and say she could be the benefactor, right? If it's
She
big
could.
money,
She could be bankrolling them.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if she would do that though. Her character feels like she's too big for everybody. She had Camille as a bodyguard, right? And Camille was like, "I'm
So why have-
it."
Remember
So
that.
why
That
not-
was a
yeah.
cup of coffee at this point. That was a blip
So
in the
but like
radar.
that, it would make
was-
sense. She would find bigger heaters to protect her.
I would even-
Her 4 belts is her faction. It's her and her 4 belts. That's the faction, bro. Honestly, man.
Listen, I only talk to the titles, yo.
That's it. She only talks to gold. That's it. Gold and leather.
That's fire.
That's all she understands, man.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I'm
I would
just saying,
say,
like,
I would actually say in regard to that, Queen Amanada. That's who I would think would be. a
Yes,
dope
please.
has she won a match
The
yet?
Hurt Syndicate. She has not won a match, but I
In a
think
Okay,
her,
then.
But I think her as a force, I think she would be like actually like a.
She is a
good
tall
look.
glass of milk. Like
Yeah.
Like, she would
physically.
be a good.
And she's
look.
like, she actually hits pretty hard. Her finisher
Yes,
off with her head,
yes,
like
yes.
looks
Maneuvers
really,
are
really
very
like.
tough,
So
but,
that's a good call.
like
At
Also,
some
I've
point, the
been
Hurt
calling
Syndicate
for the-
has to expand.
I've been calling for the longest, the Renegade Twins. You know,
Yes, you
I've been calling for them to be the heaters, or at least like the young girls for Mercedes. But if Hurt
Mhm.
Syndicate was, just picking up some youngins, man, they hit hard as hell as well.
yes.
Yeah.
So
I'm going. Let's say Cedric. Cedric joins at some point. We'll just end up on that.
all right, we have 7 matches left. No, I'm joking.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised the way they
I
put
know,
on
that's
shows.
AEW has a lot of matches, man.
I'm gonna keep it a buck.
I like
I,
it.
I joked about the 7, but we really do have 5 left. Like, we could breeze. Let's breeze through these.
We can
man,
leave
'cause we
lightning
gotta-
around this, yeah.
Yeah, we can get over to WWE. We got Mercedes versus Momo. We already know Mercedes is retaining
Yeah,
TBS
yes.
championship.
So
They're paying her how much? She's winning.
Right. Exactly. Next match, Swerve versus Ricochet, #1 contendership for the world championship on the line. Ricochet's doing some great work, but Swerve is definitely taking that. Ricochet is not not won a title yet in AEW. He's not going to win that. Swerve.
Swerve all day.
it's definitely.
Who's
Swerve is the
house?
jewel in the history of AEW. Swerve is the jewel of the brand.
It's going to be a great match from a crowd perspective because we're finally going to have a good heel that is hated. We're probably going to have the most heat of the night versus someone who's going to have the best pop of the night. So,
Yeah.
Right.
Swerve. yourself
Signed the
out.
contract, Ricochet. Love that. It was so good. So good.
Man, hit him with the with the teacher scissors. Those are the joints you cut construction paper.
Yeah, the big one.
Yeah. 3 matches
So
to go.
good.
Timeless Tony Storm, Falls Count Anywhere, defending that championship against Mariah May. I'm gonna go Timeless Tony Storm. She just won it. She ain't gonna lose it. Seems pretty straightforward.
She's in the Mildred Burke movie that's coming out, Queen of the Ring, which is coming out this weekend.
Tomorrow,
Timeless-
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Timeless Tony Storm's winning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she has press to do.
Yeah, she has press to do. She's
I
winning.
saw that last little promo too that she cut on Mariah, and she's like, "I'm gonna
Yeah.
finish you." And I was like, "Yeah,
Yep.
you definitely are gonna finish her, aren't
Yep.
you?" So I believe it. She made me believe
If
it.
this means that Mariah May can stop spitting on all of her opponents every feud, every other week, then this is all fine with me to pack this feud up, man. End this. Tony Storm for the W. We need to end this. Get Mariah May away from this
Put a
title scene
dubs.
immediately and put Chris Statlander or Megan Bayne right there.
There you go. 2 matches to go. We have Takeshita. Don Callis, of course, is in the tuck. This is the International Championship. The match I highlighted, Omega is the challenger. I'm going with Omega to take the belt here. I think we're heating Omega back up. We got a nice summertime run to come. He just came back. I don't see any reason why he would be taking any losses. He's the guy who, helped start the company, and he's back and he's in good health. Let's ride the train of good health for as long as good health is here to have. So I'm going with Omega.
Yeah, if your theory of Omega and Okada unification comes true, then yes, it's got to be Omega. Because if that happens, we're going to talk Omega Okada.
Exactly.
But Dave Meltzer,
The
fantastic.
7-star.
Yeah, the 7-star, whatever he
I mean, this
rated.
is pure
And
excellence.
to be
The best
fair,
way
like
to
they've
do it.
highlighted for starters, they've highlighted that's probably going to be the all-in match. They already forecasted that, right?
Yeah,
Omega.
you tease it,
We already did.
at Double or Nothing, and
Exactly.
then all in you go bananas. With
And
Omega
we
Okada
don't
unification.
know how much longer both of these guys are going to be near their prime to be able to perform anything like what we're expecting them to do. You have to pull that trigger now, and
Correct.
you have to do it this year.
And you got to do it in Dallas when your big show is actually in the States.
Exactly. So, Omega birthday. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm with that, man. That's another one where I feel like, yo, like as someone looking from the outside, I'm like, yeah, I think this guy's probably just gonna take it. There's no reason why he's not going to. I don't know if there's anything in between that would make it go the other way. So
Takeshita would,
you guys tell me.
Takeshita
Nah.
would be a great win. He'd be a great win, but
Outside.
Kenny needs this win just from a send the crowd home happy standpoint.
Fact.
AEW needs this win. Kenny Omega's might be the most pure babyface on the roster right now.
If
Yeah.
Omega, if Ospreay can have a run with that belt, Omega can have a run with that belt.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
just fine. And
Absolutely.
it's crazy that this title, like even talking about this, just made me go, yo, what happened to Danny Garcia? That damn TNT title just disappeared.
He's in
Like,
trios with Well, you know what? I was surprised. Like they're gonna run Danny Garcia versus Adam Cole again. Like they ran that on Collision. It was a
I'm
solid
fine
match.
with that.
Yeah, but they're gonna run that again.
It's like, damn, son, like that international title, like what does it even matter? What does it mean? It's like,
But
you know
that-
what I'm
I mean,
saying?
look,
They could build with Okada like this too, right? If Omega wins.
Yeah,
for
like
a
if
title unification match, then what about the C2? It's like certain things that I'm just like, I like it, but I don't want a title unification match. Just,
They won't unify because they're gonna keep the Continental classes, so I don't think they might.
Right.
But the other part is like they can, if they don't unify, it can be a champion versus champion winner take all, and then
Yeah, that works
they'll
too.
break it up at
That's
some
fair.
other
Two
point.
belts.
Yeah, they'll break it up
That's
at some
fair.
other point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have no
So,
problem putting 5
Well, yeah, exactly, on one person.
belts on somewhere if they could put more.
So,
Exactly.
It's Omega. We're going Omega.
Yeah, it's Omega across the board. Last match, main event, singles match, AEW World Championship, Mox versus Cope. I'm going with Copeland. And I'm going with the run-in from Christian with the money in the bank or whatever they're calling it. And I'm saying that Christian is going to be the person that we see holding that AEW World Championship when those credits roll at the end of the pay-per-view.
Have we seen the belt ever since Mox's
No.
side? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but Death Rider's angle is horrible.
It's dead in the water, but you know it's gonna work because
horrible.
It's Moxley's universe, and we just
He
all in it.
thinks it's going to work. He thinks it has been horrible. Like I'm a Mox fan. I'm a mediocre Mox fan, but there's no logic in the history of wrestling that says hide your biggest title from the crowd for months.
Right.
This needs to stop. Like he's trying to.
Nobody ever said nobody wants to see the world champion.
Exactly.
Except John Moxley wants you to just know that he is the AEW world title. Like it is him.
Yeah, in his version of saving AEW, which he has done none of that.
The worst job of.
Yeah, none of that. Give it the Cope edge, whatever he's calling himself, and I'm fine with Christian winning it. Just show the title at some point. Yeah, actually, give it to Christian. He'll do a better heel job. Give it to Christian.
Christian would be amazing as champion, by the way.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like for all these reasons is exactly why Moxley's gonna still have the title. It's gonna be like, damn,
fantasy book
like all these reasons.
So, yo, y'all made some really good points. However,
yeah, bro, because you're gonna need like a real monster to take him down. I feel like Cope is not the one to do it. It's gonna have to be some other young head or I don't know. That's how I'm looking at it. I don't see. It's kind of like I don't know. You want to see somebody, not another old baby face. You got an old heel right now, so I feel like it's a little bit more sense. To me, it doesn't make sense. So I don't know. Let's see. I could be wrong. I don't know. I just feel like because like everyone wants Moxley to lose because we're tired of him.
Mm-hmm.
Need any of it, man. You talk about Moxley to keep winning when you're not supposed to. So yeah, that's my thoughts, man.
Going Mox. It's all the way Mox. It's gotta be Mox. I'm sorry. I'm in the Mox universe. You know what's gonna happen. Yeah. It's gonna be a flat, sad ending after a Jay White dick kick and a Blade Runner, and the crowd just is like, and Mox just bulldog choke, pass out, and the crowd is flat. That's how I think this is.
Again, my Dean Ambrose critique applies here to Moxley as well. What is the difference? What is the difference? But he's trying harder with Mox. I'll give it. He's trying harder, but
I think like it's all. If this was a Kenny Omega versus John Moxley match, we would be on here saying I'm not sure which way this goes.
Because Kenny's a better built babyface than Copeland.
100%.
But Mox could always. Kenny's so selfless that he would.
You can make an argument either way, but my point is like there's a real threat there.
Yes.
You know, if this was Ospreay, there's a real threat. Only reason I'm even going with Cope is because I think he holds that title for 15 seconds. You know what I mean?
Which I'm with you on that. Like if I had to go alternate, is that because that is a really funny story. Like all the naysayers can say what they want. Yo, how could you Cope? Cope
that heats Christian and
that calls back to that original story they did like
1000%. And look, and again to my same point of Omega and Okada, but for an even older pair of people.
Yeah,
you don't know the next time you're going to have anything relevant and meaningful where you have Christian versus Copeland. This really could be like a one pay-per-view program where between now and Double or Nothing, that's what they do and that's their send-off. We might not feud with each other ever again.
And how
they don't got much time. And you know how Cope be working. Like Christian clearly works smarter and Cope works a little smarter.
Yeah. Copeland's jumping off the cage. Christian is just not wrestling.
You know what I mean? So
you say, yo, wrestle, my boy. What?
Off the cage after
they got the contract in hand.
Doing that crazy ass jump.
Yeah,
the contract is a good call though. That is a good call with that contract. So I do like that option. If that is the option, I think that'll send the crowd home very happy. Like very.
Here's the crazy part about it. So the belt is in a briefcase, and the contract's in the briefcase, right?
Yo, right.
What if they just switch them? What if it's just a sleight of hand? What if it's just a sleight of hand? I'm telling you.
Yo, why did I just think of like how like in some movies where somebody just puts a briefcase under a bench,
Put it down and someone picks up another
somebody
one.
else sits
Yep.
down and picks it up
You
and
are
walks
now
off.
watching, man.
I'm telling you, it could happen.
That,
It
yo,
could
that's
happen
spy,
so
spy
easily.
versus spy in the main event.
That is exactly what that turns into. But
Spy
no,
versus spy for the AEW World Championship, or
It could-
nah.
It could happen so easily. I don't know how they'd execute it, but it'd be something to talk about.
Oh, I needed that laugh. That was good.
before we get up off the AEW Revolution pay per view, I guess we might be booking too much for Jay White. How do we feel about that? What do we think is going on? You
I
think
think
it's going to be
I would put it this
bait
way.
and switch? You think it won't happen, or will it happen?
I don't see that even if he turns, I can still see the way I laid it out still happening. Because like they could probably just say, we're just throwing, we're going to overbook the main event, throw the kitchen sink. You know what I mean? So, and then that then also sets up a world title match at some point. Because I would see Christian moves on, but in between the Double or Nothing, Christian, Copeland's going to want to get his revenge against, against Switchblade. So you want on his route to try to win that title back from Christian, you want to have him with a meaningful win, and I can see Switchblade being that guy that plays that role.
Yeah, it's very simple. Switchblade's the reason that Cope loses the title to Christian.
There you go.
Very simple. Cope wins. Switchblade goes out to help him.
Switchblade comes out, exactly. Turns on him right there.
Turns on him. Here comes Christian. Easy.
Perfect.
Somebody
should be paying you, Rick.
Turns on him.
I've watched a lot of wrestling.
I love that, but I just can't get away from.
It's because it's too predictable for AEW. They're going to muck it up for no reason.
I can't get away from the crowd and all of us just laughing like, "Yo, how flat was that ending?"
But that wouldn't be flat.
Everybody.
But that wouldn't be flat because a briefcase title swap is always going to get a pop.
No,
Always.
I don't mean like. I mean like if Mox just does the usual. Like he just gives the usual. I'm not even going.
Oh, you're talking about if Mox wins?
Yeah, Mox wins. If he just gives the usual.
Dog, there's no way. There's no way.
I'm going. That's why I said it's gonna be the usual. We're gonna get the water whip. We're gonna get that usual.
We're about to get like the WCW days where they just start throwing the Coca-Cola cups into the ring. Like, all right, man.
Scott Steiner and Madeja with the
Yo, real quick, I don't know if you guys saw, but WWE just started a WCW only YouTube page.
Yes.
I saw the
Fire.
That's about to be because like what they did with Vault has been so fire. So the WCW page, I'm curious to see like if they start adding Vault stuff.
I think it is going to be like a WCW Vault, and you got to do an episode. I might be even spared. You got to do an episode to compare WCW's booking decisions to AEW's booking decisions.
Bro,
see what's similar. Because it's just like I don't know because some of the stuff looks real similar to me.
I'm a WCW 2000 guy, so
I'm so sorry.
Sorry
to hear
that.
So sorry.
And I rewatched that, so I absolutely know. Like,
yeah,
I know what you mean.
It is.
So yeah, that's why
it is.
That's the end, bro. Moxley. If it goes the other way, I'm all for it. But that's the end.
There you go.
The end of AEW.
So that is this weekend, I believe on Sunday, AEW Revolution. Rick, you were in Toronto for Elimination Chamber. You were in the arena, the stadium. Pardon me.
Sir.
What's that atmosphere like, man? What was that whole PLE like for you?
It was crazy. It was the day after my birthday, so I gave myself a birthday gift and went to Elimination Chamber.
Nice.
Because to be honest with you,
happy belated.
Thank you. Speaking for all of us Americans, it's cheaper to do things in Toronto.
Yes, it is.
By the way, I went back the day before tariffs got in place, so maybe it won't be too much cheaper to do things in Toronto, but we'll see. We'll see. So it was kind of crazy because the Sky Dome, as I called it, is the Rogers Center, but real people call it the Sky Dome. That thing was half filled. They only used the infield for most of that crowd. The outfield was completely blank. The pre-show stage they created in the outfield. So that thing was really elevated up high. That's why it overlooked, because it was literally overlooking everything that was going on in the infield. That's why there was only 40,000. That place can easily seat 80,000. Very, very easy. The cool thing
Mhm.
about what they did for the people on the floor, that in the outfield and left field was an actual merch stand for the people on the floor. Like where Sammy and KO went to fight and they were putting them through tables. If you went a little bit further back, you run into the merch stand for the people on the floor.
Yo, sidebar, I'm all for the dimly lit, calm restaurant vibe wrestling. More dimly lit wrestling match, please.
That was the
a
most. That
vibe.
was the very.
It was vibey. It was
That was
definitely
a
vibey.
vibe.
So it was cool on the inside. I can tell you what you thought was loud when they tried the dumb decision to do the American national anthem before Okanda. It was louder. It was louder, and I mean, I'll say this publicly. Like I was with a bunch of Canadians, and I was like, guys, I agree. That's why I'm not saying something. I sat down.
Yep.
No one knew. I blended in.
Yep.
I wasn't gonna be that
So
person.
dope.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna be that person at all. You know, and I will say that their national anthem's just better than ours. It's really pretty to listen to. I'm not gonna lie. They sing it really well.
That's why she wasn't shaking up at all. She knew what she had in the back.
It
Like
made her
a
do
lot,
both.
a lot
They
of
made her do
times.
both.
Nah, but a lot of times, you know how it's like one singer that does, and then the other.
Another
does
singer
the
that does another
It's
one.
like,
Yeah.
man, I got Go Canada in my back pocket. Y'all can boo. It's all good. Like it's fine.
Yeah, she got them right back on their side. But yeah, no, that atmosphere was wild. We were on a high the whole time because when you think about Elimination Chamber, this is supposed to be a setup. This is a setup pay-per-view or a setup PLE for
Not
something
anymore.
bigger. And they just went hit after hit after hit.
Right.
And then when you thought it was over, you were like, excuse me. And now it's become the set. It was a setup pay-per-view, and now it's become the most talked about pay-per-view or PLE of the year. And WrestleMania is less than 50 days away.
I love it. I love it, yo. This
You
is a
know.
destination pay-per-view now. Like now,
Absolutely.
Right.
you got
Yeah.
Royal Rumble to worry about, and you got Elimination Chamber. Now you
It's
got
just
two
Royal
waves.
Rumble B.
But it works though.
Yeah.
The roster's so
Yeah.
stacked. You
Right.
need two different pay-per-views to get to your route to WrestleMania. You can't get everybody on the Royal Rumble because then that just is going to have a spin cycle for this whole period we in. So I
Yeah.
love it. Like
Yeah.
that's what I love. I'm glad they switched over and they stopped giving us No Way Out in Fastlane.
Roadblock.
Yeah.
That used to be the pay-per-view where the champ would be in a tag team match against the challenger.
Yeah, a whole
know?
lot of nothing would happen.
Exactly.
I mean,
lot
they
of
still have
nothing.
they still got Roadblock, but it's just NXT.
It's NXT.
You know?
Yes, I like they
Yeah.
gave all the old
And I like that-
WWE pay-per-views
yeah,
to
I-
NXT.
And the
That-
WCW ones too.
Great American Bash, Halloween
Halloween
Havoc.
Havoc. Halloween
Yeah.
Havoc's a
Yeah.
great show.
That's funny you said that, Ayo. After we recorded last week, the Vault just dropped Triple H and Steve Austin. 3
Yeah.
Stages of Hell from No Way Out 2001.
Wasn't
Nice.
that like a
God,
50-minute
for
match?
That match was nuts, yo.
That was an unofficial Iron Man match.
Yeah, that was an insane match. So yeah, I like that whole blend of that. So it's good to see
Yeah.
you got a good experience of like the shifting
Yeah.
of the tides. You know what I mean? Like this
Yeah.
isn't just a filler pay-per-view. You didn't just
No,
go to like
this
you know what I'm
every
saying?
pay-per-view, the way that WWE has really reconstructed their PLEs is that everything is big. You can't miss it. Like everything continues a story or elevates a story. And when you get to those big 4 or 5, if you include Money in the Bank, we're coming on something that's going to shift the tide until the next big one. And also this is my first international PLE. I was very impressed with the crowd. Like I've done New York, obviously. I did Philly. I've done Chicago for Survivor Series. And Toronto is up there too. Absolutely up there. Crowd was great. And really polite, but great as well.
Jade.
Yeah.
The Jade
Yo.
Cargill running.
Beat the brakes off of that woman. And somehow no one saw it coming because all of a sudden you just heard the storm clap. And then she came out and like my first like thought when I watched her walk, I was like, how did she get better looking?
She's
Like I was like, this is not fair.
she's had rest. She's been chilling, marinating, man.
Yeah. She got better looking. They played it up well. Bianca deserves an Oscar, a Grammy, a Tony, an Emmy, all of them for that performance. Liv Morgan as well. Honorable mention. Liv Morgan has earned her best worker in the women's division crown for me. But Jade coming out and just destroying. We talked about on my pod. Jade should reinstate the Hall of Pain for women.
Liv Morgan got over so well that Drake followed her.
Of course she
Wow,
did. Of course.
isn't that a little old for Drake?
Yo,
That's
Yikes.
what
man,
he like.
that was what I caught on the tweet box one day. I was just like, wow, she's that popular that like her showing in the Elimination Chamber was that good that like he was actually like, you know what? Let me see what Liv Morgan's day to day is looking like.
What's in Liv's stories, man? What's what's Liv getting for lunch?
Listen.
So she earned her keep in that one. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I think she's gonna do good things in the tag division moving forward. Great choice with Bianca winning. I think that was the best pick, man. That was a good call on that. We
If
needed
it's
Bianca win.
just because it's obvious doesn't mean you have to
Yeah.
go away from it.
Yes.
Agree.
There was really no other option.
Yeah, there wasn't.
There wasn't any other
There
option.
wasn't.
If she lost, I think the crowd would have just been like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it would have been
that was
bad.
a really good call. And I'm looking forward to Bianca and Io. Bianca, Io, and potentially Rhea. That's
You
gonna
make
be
that a triple threat as quick as possible.
That's gonna be a banger of a match. Because we still got time, so we probably gonna get Bianca and Io, and then we gonna get the triple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fight me right now tonight here in Sacramento.
And then probably like when do you think we get Jade and Naomi before Mania or at Mania?
At Mania. It's too many nights.
Yeah.
Too many
There's
nights,
too much
bro.
stuff going on. Too many
You know what I'm
things
saying?
going
It's
on
perfectly
is
fine.
definitely
You throw
happening
that on.
ASAP.
That'll be cool. That'll be a cool Saturday night match.
Actually, the way I see it now, I kind of agree with you because Jade needs. It's about time. She ran with Bianca for a year. They highlighted her at 40 at WrestleMania 40. They gave her the big win in the six
Yep.
woman tag. This is now the transition for Jade to go out on her own. If she can have a great performance against Naomi, a seasoned vet who's been to the stage before, it's going to do wonders for that aggressive run next year, leading into New Orleans.
I agree. I
Yep.
absolutely agree.
It's
Yep.
time. It's time. Let's get to it.
Yeah, she's learned all she can. Now put
We
in work.
hope.
Go
We
get my
hope.
charger.
Got you. We had a couple of other happenings. Obviously, like the biggest thing of the night was the Cena turn, but outside of that, we had the women's elimination chamber that we're talking about. We also had Tiffany Stratton, Trish Stratus. They beat Nia Jax, Candice LeRae. But Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, man, that unsanctioned match.
Yeah.
Listen,
That was violence.
It could have been more violent if we
Yes.
only knew what was going to happen later on in the night. Because when you look at how they did, I kind of joked about it. I was like, "Oh wow, this is the AEW lights out unsanctioned match," but something that actually makes sense because they turned the lights down. The ref wasn't even in referee gear. He already had gloves on, like they were going to bleed. Like
And didn't.
they
No one
had-
bled.
Right.
and no one bled. It's only because they probably got told they couldn't at the last second. Because if you look at that barbed wire steel chair, that barbed wire was shaved down.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, and
It was
he caught the
shaved
what was
down.
it, the Raven drop toe hole.
Yeah, he took
Yeah.
a dropped hold to the face and nothing. He took a blue thunder bomb and the chair didn't break and
Yeah.
nothing.
That slow fall back
Yeah.
off of those 3 chairs was so perfect. Exactly. It was so
OD
perfect.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm glad that we didn't get blood, which I was a little disappointed there, but I'm glad we did not see a kendo stick in this match.
you had a hockey stick here in Canada.
Yeah, they
But-
kind of replaced it with the hockey stick.
Yeah, but like the kendo stick, I feel is like steel chair can do like damage, but like the kendo stick to me feels like just I don't know, such a paint by numbers type of weapon that
Yeah. I kind of feel you, and I also feel like the kendo stick, it's not like a strong weapon. It's like a really light whipping weapon. So I feel like that's like a better weapon for like someone like Michin. You know what I mean? When Michin come through with the
Yeah,
kendo stick
yeah,
and start just quickly whipping like the other women wrestlers, I feel like that's a bit
Mhm.
more fitting. Whereas Like you can't like what are you gonna do? You're gonna whip Sheamus and Drew McIntyre with the kendo stick. They're just gonna get more mad. You need to use a shillelagh on those
Yeah,
guys. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's gotta mean something if you're gonna use a small swift weapon.
Right.
So I think the hockey stick was more like just like a ode to
Yeah, that was cool.
Toronto. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
home purpose, the Hockey
But
Hall of Fame.
yeah, I'm glad they did that instead of the kendo
100%.
stick.
Most of their weapons were
Yeah.
all black too, which I
So
thought was really, really interesting
and
as
like
well.
Yeah.
yeah. I think ultimately, man, it was kind of like an indie match that they got on the roster while also being like not just like ability wise, but also they're just kind of like yo, those two guys you could rely on putting on a fantastic indie type match with tables and barbed wires and this while still kind of
Yeah.
staying in that WWE
Right.
new 2025 Paul Levesque window, you know. So I thought it was cool, you know what I'm saying? And now I might want to watch GCW if I want some more violence or something. I don't know.
Yeah, if you want like some blood in the first couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very, to me,
Then
when I watched the match live, it was very classic Ring of Honor.
Did I just popped back
yes.
in on birthday talking about GCW?
Yeah. We were talking about
No.
Sammy and KO.
What does my
Yeah,
man
and I was
know
just
about the grimiest?
yeah, no, I
expression?
was just saying like that was like a really good match to take two guys, Sammy and KO, who are like, you know, experienced veterans and also just like, you know, just top guys. And you know, you could rely on them to put on like a good match with like tables and chairs and ladders and barbed wire and violence while still kind of maintaining like what the WWE new window is for like the future and whatever. And then I was just saying, like, yo, maybe if I want to see some more of that violence, I'll check out GCW because they turn it up a notch. And, you know, I think that's kind of cool. It's kind of like a gateway to like other things. They're introducing like more styles of like the wrestling culture to this wide audience. Because listen, that's 38,000 people. And that's just in the room. You know, there's so many thousands and thousands of people that are just still familiarizing themselves with the game. And you could even see the commentary shifting a little bit. So it cast a wider net so more people can understand like, oh, like what's medical facility? No, they're saying hospital
They're
now.
saying
You know what I
hospital.
mean?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't
So
let Michael Cole be a journalist for once.
yeah, you know what I mean? And it works out, you know, it just makes more people that don't really understand things
My only real
understand,
gripe
you
with
know? And then you can fall into like everything just really easy.
no
So
blood.
I
No
like
blood
that.
was my only real gripe.
No blood. Yeah, we were saying there was no blood with that barbed wire. There
I
should
was
have been
like,
a little bit of
this
blood, but yeah,
is, you know, it's
And
brutal,
especially
but
like to your point, Rick, they set it up with the ref already having the
Gloves on.
gloves on before the
Yeah.
bell rings. You know what I mean? Like, so it was the anticipation was like, oh, this is about to be. And I think like they brought the violence close enough, and then it's like, all right,
They brought it
we're
close enough that we forgot about
yeah,
that
where
there
because
was
he
no
didn't
blood.
need it at the
Yeah.
end with those pop-up power
yeah,
bombs on the apron. It's just like,
they
yeah, ain't
they were
no real
brutal.
blood needed here unless he starts coughing up blood. It's like, yeah,
Right.
pretty much over.
Right. They were brutal. I think the only
that Cody KO match was more brutal. I
yeah,
think.
Yeah, it was.
yeah, definitely. I think the next time, because where do you go from this type of match, right? If the next time that I think KO and Sammy have a match is when one of them are retiring, and that's the one that they want to retire them.
It is Hell in a Cell. That's the
Nah,
only way you can go
I,
with Sammy and KO.
yeah, Hell in a
Or
Cell
or I
next
can't
year.
even see like Hell in a,
Yeah,
if it's Hell in a Cell, they have to let these guys go further than what Mac and Punk did. Or if it's a cage, it has to be some sort of we're gonna add a new twist to this cage. You know, it's not a regular cage match. We've seen enough Hell in the Cells now to this point that we can say there are some Hell in the Cells that are just regular Hell in the Cell matches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we have to either
yeah.
really push it and go far, or you got to add something else. And I think like it's going to be a retirement match, you know, or an I quit or some kind of match where somebody's not. We're not going to see that person for a
It'll
long
be
time.
next year. It'll be next year
What, at
during
Mania?
Sami
Yeah,
Zayn. Nah, it'll be
yeah.
at Hell in a Cell or Bad Blood during Sami Zayn's Miracle World Title run. You think they're not going to run it back?
Yeah, it's gonna be something like that because you gotta have like a slow build to a Hell in the Cell. You can't You can't just like if you think about it, the two cage matches that CM Punk is in, Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, like that hate is very deep. Like the storyline is layered. Like the Seth Rollins, like you can argue like it's maybe a shorter timeline, but still like that, it's actually dating back decades from when he left. You know, they kind of said that in storyline, and then whatever we know, Drew McIntyre and CM Punk feud of the
Also,
year.
the
So
sell ain't even too much of a factor, but it's just more so this feud has never had a world title over it. And
Yeah.
if Sami
yeah,
Zayn, I think, could
That's
win
fair.
next year's Royal Rumble in Saudi and have his Miracle World title run be next year, now he's solidified, he ain't going nowhere. I think we're going to
mm,
revisit this feud sooner than later after this match.
See,
Sammy
that's
winning
fair
in
because,
Saudi, early prediction right there. I kind of like that. That makes sense.
and that's fair too, because that adds something that we haven't seen. You know what I mean? Like if we're not gonna go, if we go to this level of violence, you can't out violence this
Yeah, not
unless you're
violence,
willing to,
violence.
unless you're either willing to really, really push it or somebody's retiring. Right. So if you add something new, like you're saying, the world championship, that's the only thing left, for this combination and this feud is to go over the top belt.
You
Or at
beat me
least the
last
world
time.
heavyweight.
Sammy could say, yo, you beat me last time, but look who's
Yeah.
the champion. Look who is it?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
at least the world heavyweight, the Gunther title,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Gunther.
The
Yeah.
Gunther title. It is
Gunther
the
title.
Gunther title.
The Gunther belt.
or they're gonna have to disrupt each other from winning titles or
Which
something. It's gonna be
Which, to
in
be
that
fair, that's
picture.
an interesting build. Like, imagine before, Sammy has a chance, and we haven't seen KO for about 4, 5, 6 weeks, and he pops back up, cost Sammy that. Sammy
Yeah,
then cost KO 4, 5, 6 weeks later, and then cat and mouse that until
I
until
could see
Sammy has
that.
the belt and KO chases.
Speaking of 4, 5, 6 weeks later,
Like,
are we rocking with Sami Zayn carrying cross for WrestleMania?
Cool.
oh,
That's what it's gonna be.
I'm
nah,
rolling.
not yet, not
I'm
yet,
pretty.
not
I'm
yet,
kind of
not yet,
rolling.
not yet, not yet. Karrion Cross, nah, not yet. Karrion Cross has a
He
lot
does
of
not
work to do
actually. He does
still.
not. Karrion Cross does not have a
Nah,
lot of work
you
to
don't
Just
do.
think
gotta get in
so?
the ring. That's
That
all.
maybe get in the
People gotta
ring,
care.
but look at Karrion Cross in the last about 2 years. Every
Oh yeah, he's been in everybody's
and
ear. He's still
everything
being
he
more of a
said
devil.
has come to fruition. Karrion Cross is probably the most
Yes,
developed character in wrestling, and no one knows it.
Yes,
yes,
he's cooking.
absolutely, 100,000. He's absolutely
Yeah,
cooking. That's what I'm saying. Like he has to
Yes,
cook
in the ring, you
more.
gotta
You know what I
care
mean?
yeah,
about.
He
You
in the
gotta
ring.
he
care about
he.
that match. Because when
Yeah,
that bell
he.
rings, a lot of people are like, "Yeah, man,
Yeah,
this ain't doing it for me."
He
because right
never
now,
recovered.
I I kind of I kind of like that that Karrion Cross is not like doing matches right now, and that he's just in the locker room, just messing with everybody's head and just kind of getting
He's
in
purposely
everybody's
wearing
ear and
his
like
hairstyles like everyone that he's
Which is
doing.
dope.
yo, it's so good.
Which is
It's
dope.
so good.
Easy
I
breezy,
love that.
beautiful cover girl hair
Yeah,
this past
Like,
week.
yo, son had a baldy
Yeah,
and a helmet on NXT during the pandemic,
he
and now
did.
he's got
yeah,
AJ Styles hair. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
the
a-
crazy thing
and
about Cross is that he never recovered from that Adam Cole promo on NXT. Adam Cole cooked him up, and he has, as
yeah.
much as I love Ken, he hasn't been the same since. He hasn't been the
I
You
feel
same
don't
like
even
this
since.
is a
remember his
chance for him
reign.
to
You
like,
just remember he beat everyone, and that was the
yeah,
end. Like there was nothing real much of a
And then
highlight of like, yo, that
Adam
match with Karrion
Cole,
Cross was.
yeah,
I was a Killer Cross guy from TNA, so
yeah,
I don't know. It just
I
fell
just
out.
really like how this character is getting revived. Because to me, when he had the whole just like the faction, I didn't really like it. Never made sense. It was kind of like holding him back, and now he's
He's
just
on
like
his own.
free to
It's
be
him
the
and Scarlett.
devil. And now, yeah, and now I feel like also just like the fans are kind of understanding that, and they're like buying into it more. So it's just like, ooh, we like that, and I feel like and this is like a perfect place for Paul to like dip the seasoning in here while he just kind of lets everything else slow build. Here, eat this. These are fresh cookies. You know what I mean? And Karrion Cross is like that side of the company to do that. You know, like, yo, I want to see Karrion Cross next to Seth Rollins next week. I want to see him next to Dominic next week, and then we just keep seeing just like these shots and little promos for 10, 15 seconds, whatever. And we just nom, 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 eating it up. And then he starts doing his crazy stuff in the ring with all like the nonsense. Some people are
Facts.
mad at him, some people are with him. It's just gonna open it up way too much. Now you have a full listing of bookings for him, people that hate him, and now all the people that are gonna ride with him. And now it's
Tell
like,
you,
they're all struggling with their conscience, and
This is
this
the
is
most positive
storyline, man. We want
creativity
to,
we've ever spoke about Karrion Kross. Like 117 episodes of
Fact.
Ringside. I will tell
yo,
you that.
That's a
shout to
fact,
Carry
man.
Across.
Carrying Cross, you are welcome
Yeah, shout to Carry
anytime on
Across.
the
He also
Ringside
follows me
Club,
on.
man.
You know what I'm saying? You rolling right now.
Hell yeah, man. He also follows me on Twitter, man.
That's
Shout to
fire.
him, man. He
You
two people
rolling
follow
right
me on
now.
Twitter. I
He's
love
got a
Carry
mean
Across.
Jesse Ventura impersonation
He's
too.
rolling right now. You
So
rolling.
good.
Good
So
WrestleMania
good.
moment on the way for Karrion Kross.
Look, when you talk about
Hell
like
yeah,
the
we're with it.
biggest comebacks, I thought it was a wrap for Carrying Cross. And look at how
Nah,
positive.
he's doing
Look at how
thing.
positive his act is being received right now. I thought it
Yeah.
was over, man.
Didn't even have to wrestle. You know what I'm
Mm-mm.
saying?
Exactly.
The Harley
And
Cameron
it's
move.
perfect. It's perfect.
Hardly can.
It's perfect because you have like the new audience / the old audience from like when we were kids, and now we're adults. So like now we're peaking in, we are now growing up with deep thinking, critical thinking television shows and series and content. So now that we see it in the company and in promos, it's just like, oh, we see it, we peep it, and we're totally eating
Yeah.
this up because we
Eating
love
it.
this, like
Real.
the little details that everyone thinks that, oh, I know but you don't, like that's the feeling, like that Karrion Kross gives. It's like I'm the only one that knows. Nah, he's the only
Yeah.
one.
I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. Fire gimmick. Rest in peace, Sean O'Hare. What's up next, though? How was the rest of the card? What we getting through next?
I mean, the only thing left to talk about is the heel turn heard around the world, man.
Whoa. Randy.
Oh yeah, the Viper is back.
I will tell you, I did pop out of my seat when that music hit.
Were you expecting him?
No, not at all. Not one bit. I was so focused on, wow, Sammy and KO put a damn good match. I don't know where you go from
I
here.
think they baited us really good on that one.
They did. So the person I was with, she was like, oh, do you want, like, the match is over. She's like, oh, I'm going to get some drinks. You want some? I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. And she went up, and then, like, as soon as she left, like 5 seconds before Randy's music hit.
Yeah,
and
that's so funny.
You better come back like right now. No,
Yep.
I was already drunk. I just yelled. I just put Randy in all caps.
That's so funny.
That's like the fire to Randy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Randy in
Understood.
all
That
caps.
theme.
Understood.
that theme hit, it was
Everybody
crazy.
was singing.
Matter of fact,
theme song.
the same thing happened. I had Ron was over, so Ron came by, and the match ends. He got up to go to the bathroom,
Yeah,
and I had to pause the stream.
feed.
Yeah,
Damn.
because I'm like, he ain't about to run out the back. You know what I mean? Like, get yourself together and all that. So it's like, damn. And he came out like, yo, what happened? I just hit Randy.
Click.
Randy.
Damn, that's so crazy.
Yeah, why does Randy get thicker every time he returns?
My man
Bro,
is
he's-
eating calories, bro.
Yeah,
He
for
stays
sure.
true to wrestling. Like he's always on deck ready to wrestle.
Yeah.
I actually appreciate
RKO and the K stands for calories, man.
Sure.
that. We are done
Now
with
that
the
K
days.
stands for Kim.
Yeah, well,
Done with the days of Randy Orton in suits, apparel, jeans.
Yeah,
He's just
nah.
always
Nah,
ready to
his
wrestle.
Coming
thighs
with full
can't-
body.
His
Vibe,
thighs
right?
can't fit in those pants, yo. Have you
Yeah.
seen
Yeah.
his quads, yo?
custom
Randy Orton
suits
is
only.
1984 every day. He's ready to just get down and grapple.
Meanwhile, we're
Randy
watching.
Ica Pro Orton, man.
Yeah, facts, and I'm watching him eating Chinese food while he's just coming out to. It was crazy. So I was watching it in here with a bunch of people. I was here with my artist and studio partner Donnie Durag. He's over here researching in the back, doing his parlays and
Such a
stuff.
fire
But
name. Donnie
yeah,
Durag is
Donnie
that's
great.
Durag.
that's his artist name there.
I remember the days when I needed a durag, and
Yeah, there he is right there doing parlay
You can
research
do
right
that
there.
anymore. Yeah, you're good.
But yeah, man, we were here. We're just watching it here, and like maybe like 2 minutes, I'm like, I think Randy's gonna come out, and I'm eating my chicken with garlic sauce, and he's eating his orange chicken, and then he goes, I hear voices, and then the TV goes, I hear voices, and then we both started screaming at the TV. I was like, no way, man! It was such a crazy moment, bro. Like he really called it, like perfect timing, bro. Like nah, he has to come back. He's just KO was just being way too brutal. Like this is how we gotta build into the character now. Like
Yeah,
like,
that
something's
Mania
gotta happen.
match. Match is going to be phenomenal.
It's going
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
Yep.
already. We in the crowd were all
Shout
ready
to
for the
AJ
fun.
Phenomenal.
As soon as he started adjusting that knee pad, I was like, "Oh, it's coming."
yeah, we
And
got
then-
we got Punt
yeah.
Orton back now.
Yeah.
he's about to
Legend
punt
Killer
him.
Punt Orton is yeah, it's
about to
dangerous.
punt him.
It's a dangerous world out there now.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming. Shout to Randy. Shout to the
The
Viper.
Viper. Yeah, man. I mean, the men's elimination chamber.
It's great.
I think it was what it was, right? I feel like I think there was like moments where it did like leading up to the chamber. I felt like it was like, oh, I think CM Punk is gonna win. Nah, it's gotta go to Cena. Nah, it's gotta, and that's exactly how the match kind of went. It kind of went. I could almost hear the commentary and the tweets just in my brain, like as the match is going on. I was like, nah, CM Punk, CM Punk. Nah,
Ricky,
CM
did
Punk, CM
people?
Punk, CM
How was the
Punk.
reaction when
But
Drew took the pin first? Because we was talking about that on last week's episode. I said, "Yo, it's gonna be a surprise when
When
gets
Drew
that
took the pin first,
first."
I mean, it's fine. We're gonna get Drew and Damien, and I'm cool with that. You know, it really didn't pick up till you got to that final three, and then when you got to that final two, with the I predicted on my show, I was like, they're gonna give us Cena Punk when we don't want it, and it's still gonna be good. And that's exactly what happened. They gave us Cena Punk. See, if you read their lips, Cena and Punk are like, I miss you too, dog. You know, they embrace, and then they're just like, yeah, let's go to Money in the Bank 2013 and just go down. Like they flowed so well. It was absolutely disgusting how like professional they were. They just like they hadn't touched each other in decades at this point,
Yes,
and
decade.
they just went. Like I watch people's eyes just like go back like 12 years and be like, oh
That's
my
how I
god,
did, man.
I
Trust me, it
don't
took me
like
right back to 2011.
yeah,
Dark
I was like
times. Dark
yeah,
times that
they're
was.
like, I don't
That
know
was
what
the
I'm
bright
just
spot.
watching. And like this actually was my first Punk match ever. I've never seen
Ah,
Punk in person. You know, so for me, this is nuts. I was like, this is Money in the Bank, Cena Punk, and
right.
they're just having fun. They're just having fun. And then Seth ruined it and yelled die. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is real hate. This
So
is real
good.
hate.
Yo, hate.
Yeah, that's mad funny. That's actually really dope. Your first Punk match experience was that.
Yeah,
Was
so for me, it was like once I graduated from like I was really big on wrestling in middle school, uh and then when high school hit, I was like, oh my god, puberty, women's sports, and then I just stopped watching wrestling for a very, very long time, all the way through about halfway through grad school. So I missed from '03 to about 2013, 2014. So I missed
so
all of
when you
C.
tap back in, like Punk was out of WWE then.
Punk was on his way out. His first big match that I remember was him and Taker at 29.
He did not work out.
So you didn't even see the title reign then.
I know I was
Got
right
it.
after the title reign.
Got it. Yeah.
I caught Punk
I was
live.
there when Rock beat him at the Rumble.
Got it.
Fire. Ordered that pay-per-view. Just for that match.
Yeah. Yeah.
I caught
And Rock
Punk
was
live
someone
for
of
the
a good
first
guy.
time,
So
South Carolina. I think it was a Dynamite episode when he faced like Lexus King. It was just such a
That's the most random
that's
combination
a really
of
random
words.
combo. Yeah.
I was in South Carolina for a
Like,
Dynamite.
what
Yo,
is facing
that is
Lexus King?
legitimately when I
Lexus
saw
King
CM
with
Punk for the first
Brian
time.
Pillman Jr. had a match with
If it wasn't
Charles
Brian Pillman
Montgomery
Jr.,
Punk.
it had to have been somebody mad random because it was like it
Yeah.
was during that time when Punk was just, you know what I'm saying? He was just
Just
having
coasting.
matches with
Yeah.
everyone to shake the cobwebs off on Dynamite.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it was one of them times. So that's funny that your first Punk experience
Getting the
was
sea
that.
legs
You
back.
had an amazing Punk experience. Mine was
I had
just,
an amazing
Yeah,
experience,
you
and then
know.
everything else that happened afterwards was just ridiculous.
Brian Pillman Jr.
Fire chamber though. One of the best chamber matches I think in recent times. I think it's going to actually stand the test of time. We look back at some of the chamber matches. This one is going to be a really good one.
It all made sense.
Yes, it did. A lot of them don't. I was around for 2012 when Santino and the rest of the gang was just lollygagging in the chambers. So you know what I'm saying. There was times
Yeah.
when it was really bad.
They figured out the formula, as Chamber is the unofficial last stop before the road to WrestleMania. So it's just like, okay, Royal Rumble Jr. Whatever we didn't figure out at Rumble, we'll figure out at Chamber. Easy.
We can
Having
put the
two
upper
sets of
card-
world championships does
Helps a lot
elimination-
too, yeah.
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
upper card can be showcased here at this pay-per-view for what's to come for WrestleMania. So you don't
Correct.
putting a bunch of filler, lower mid-card guys in the chamber just to say we have them in the chamber.
Yeah.
Spots filled. Like, but really, who here has a chance of winning? It felt like a lot of people, more than half, had a chance of winning.
Yeah.
That's what I love.
The unpredictability.
The ending.
The heel turn heard around the
How
world.
do we feel about the Travis Scott discourse? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Let me
not
talk
crazy
about.
about it.
Let me talk about Travis
I don't
Scott.
mind it.
Number one. The Rock is trying to pull what Paul Heyman did in the '90s and just infuse wrestling with as much hip hop as possible, which I'm perfectly fine with. Like he came out to the Block is Hot on SmackDown, which like half of the WWE crowd has no idea what it was. But
I saw some people like talking crazy about Def Rebel when that hit. It's like, yo, what are we? Who are you?
Can't compare Def Rebel to very young.
This is why I
Wayne.
you just got to swipe up and close the app. At that
Yeah,
point.
pretty much.
Yeah,
Pretty
listen,
much.
We're done here.
there's something to be said about Travis Scott's continued influence in WWE currently. He was like people are saying, why was he there saging the ring? Why was he there saging the ring? He is very much. I'm gonna go real nerdy. He's very much the star scream to Rock's Megatron at this point.
But why was he with Jey Uso and now he's with The Rock as a heel? That's kind of where I'm just like, it's it's
Travis Scott didn't even know he was in Toronto.
I was about to say, like, what is what are you going to ask Travis Scott that you think you're going to get a reliable answer for?
But
I ain't
he's
asking him. I'm asking creative.
No, I'm not even talking about
Yeah.
creative. Like the character, the persona of Travis Scott.
Yeah.
You rely on him to remember to bring the 2 grocery bags he just paid for home? Probably not.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
No, but I think Travis Scott is your celebrity influence leading into Mania. There's a reason he posed with The Rock and Cena at the end of that event because that face of Travis Scott is bringing in somebody who's not a wrestling fan.
Yes,
It is the
100%.
what
not
is
an
Travis
original
Scott?
thought of mine.
Yeah.
Not an original thought of mine, but I saw a lot of the NWO Rodman pictures.
He's Rodman. He's definitely Rodman.
And this is that.
He's definitely Rodman.
Unpredictable
Rodman
guy,
was just
but I'm
absolutely
intrigued.
out of his mind though. Rodman was just Rodman was done up.
No,
to
Rodman
Yeah,
was
I
done
don't
off,
know.
but Travis is like, man, it's not a 1-to-1 comparison.
People got
but it ain't
trampled
that
at
far.
Travis's concerts. Like Travis is out of his mind.
Let's not forget he's the guy that's just jumping off of whatever,
Yeah.
and that's the show, and people go for that.
All right, who do you think Travis
I don't
Scott
know.
has his first match?
It
against?
just I just
Bad Bunny.
Scott versus Bad
now
Bunny
we selling a
is
concept.
actually like
We
that's-
selling a concept.
It's a possibility. It is a possibility.
I'm tuning into that 10 times out of 10, bro.
You gonna watch that before Danny
yeah,
Garcia?
just
because
because we have to.
Yes.
Man, with the,
I mean, we might I might angry watch
would
that
listen,
one.
listen.
That feels like
That's not
an
angry
angry
watch.
watch.
That is a spectacle.
that is a fire match.
that's
though.
the MTV award on a pole match.
That is a fire match.
Nah, listen.
WWE
Bad Bunny has
Bulldogs,
proven himself in the
Travis
ring.
Scott
There are
versus
rumors that Travis Scott has also started to start some
train.
training as well. Yeah. It's coming. It's a SummerSlam match. It's going to be in New York. Travis Scott, Bad Bunny,
Yo,
New
that's gonna
York.
be a
He's
damn
gonna have
near-
to see Bad. He's gonna have to see Bad Bunny,
Nah.
man.
Bad
We're gonna-
Bunny versus
uh,
Travis Scott dream match? That's what we
uh,
And
saying?
SummerSlam
He gonna have to
night
see
one.
Bad Bunny,
SummerSlam night
bro.
one. It's happening.
WWE turns to celebrity death match real quick.
It's funny because I don't know. I remember when Bad Bunny was popping. It was like, oh yeah, this
Bad
is like
Bunny's Bad Bunny's
the
never
the
not
Spanish
popping.
Travis
He's still
Scott,
popping.
right?
Didn't he just drop an
No,
album?
No, I'm talking about in the beginning when he first like entered the scene. It was like, oh yeah, this is like the Spanish Travis Scott. Remember?
Yo,
Yeah.
what are we
So I feel like that
doing?
could I feel like he's gonna use that as like a
Yo,
promo.
Travis
promo
Scott versus
material,
Bad Bunny
so.
might be like the best built feud in wrestling right now. Like,
And then underneath that is the Logan Paul and Jake Paul combo versus Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Face on the same card. They're
Well,
gonna
we
be looking at
can't
this
do
like,
Bad Bunny and Logan Paul because they might actually hurt each other because they don't
nah,
actually
somebody's they're at least breaking a wrist.
Yeah.
You know, that's got to be a tag match. We gotta. That's where you bring Damian Priest. Like, yo, Damian.
Yeah,
Bring in
literally,
somebody
you
that
bring
can control
Damian
the
Priest
ring,
in
yeah.
right there.
Exactly. Get one of them Usos in here.
Yeah.
We good to go.
That's what I'm saying.
Bring some
Turns
adults
into
in the
celebrity
equation.
deathmatch with
Listen, WWE has trained enough celebrity performers that they could run an all celebrity tournament.
I'm tuning in, dog. I pay.
On Netflix.
Listen,
That's
pretty-
Netflix or not, I'll pay for that.
Yep. It's
Listen,
I'll
Just
pay
give
gonna
me-
for
be on
that.
give
Netflix.
me
Rise and
Bunny,
pay-per-view, bro.
Give me Bunny, give me Logan Paul, Travis Scott, Stephen Amell. Like, give me all of them. Let's go. Let's run a tournament.
Even Amel could probably go.
Stephen Amell can go.
Shout
Yeah,
to
he could
Arrow,
probably go.
man.
Like I think he was world champion.
But you feel me? He's a real superhero. He was Arrow, you know.
He was
So
the
I feel
world
like it's
champion on
different.
Stars.
Yeah.
There you go, man. He got some.
That's
He got
trained by
some
Cody,
stain,
he's
you
good.
know.
Yeah, he's good.
He got some
Yeah.
real stain. And his brother's on Netflix.
Yeah, we're good.
Robbie Amell. He has a
He does.
Netflix show.
Yeah. But back to this heel turn. So there's a lot of interesting stuff leading up to this heel turn because you have The Rock, who is clearly writing his own material or having somebody who's a female that reads a lot of smut write
Yo,
his stuff.
Some of that
Because
was
he's
wild,
saying
bro.
some wild
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
You know how I knew it was like there's somebody that's like just really like smut that's doing his quotes because the person I was with was able to quote him verbatim and I know what she reads. And I was like, it's
Yo,
just,
like I
this
know
is
you're
kind of
in.
wild.
Yeah, I know you're in the filth. So got
Yeah.
it.
Like I was like, this is something wild here. So like the setup is here. Like The Rock really likes bell bottoms. I don't know why.
Yo, he
He's
was
just trying
super
stuff,
Presley'd
right?
out. He was
Trying stuff.
super Presley.
Yeah, he's
Some
trying a
Rock
lot
ain't
of
like
stuff.
honky tonk man.
I never put it together, but you are absolutely correct. It is a honky tonk man. Yeah, it
The
is a honky.
honka tonka man.
You know, and when WWE did what I thought AEW would have done a while ago, just let him curse. And I honestly, when Cody cursed, I was like, that's definitely just for the live crowd, and they bleeped it out. And then I watched the replay and I watched all the stuff they posted on their social media. It's like, oh, we're not bleeping out anything.
No, that was not bleeped out at
That was
all.
fire.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was a fire. And then the in arena crowd figured it out. I think before like the TV crowd, because we saw the slow head turn up of John, and it passed on this big screen. And we were like, oh no, and it's and it's crazy to see 3 professionally trained actors actually, because Cody's a trained actor. The Rock does things, and John Cena sometimes is in Fast and Furious and looks half decent.
The Rock.
Like that was, yeah, and that was John Cena's best performance, and it was so shocking and awe-inspiring. I saw my friend shed a tear. I was like, "You cry?"
Yo,
You
they
know,
were
Kinda
they were
well done. I ain't
kids.
gonna hold you. That was kind of dope.
They were kids crying, like all of the videos.
There was
Yeah.
a
went
family.
out.
They have
there was a
compilations
family-
already.
Yeah, man.
They did it as well.
There was a
More so
family
kids,
of
I was like,
4. There was a family of 4 in front of us, and one of the kids was decked out in the Toronto exclusive John Cena gear. And I watched this child's dreams die in front of me. Okay. Absolutely in front of me. All right. There's another family that I heard that was from New York, ironically enough, and it was 2 boys, and one of the boys was in Cody gear, and the other boy was in John Cena gear. And I was like, wow, Thanksgiving's gonna be rough for them.
You got to keep them home from school till
That is
Wednesday.
that is
man.
emotional damage to a generational trauma level. Like,
Cody is about to be the biggest baby face in the world, and I'm here for it.
all time, and just the storytelling. You have the watch.
Look,
like-
the fact that they trust Cody with Cena's heel turn is the biggest endorsement.
I'm gonna go super
For
nerdy
real.
again.
Oh my god, man.
It's
Adrenaline in the
Star
soul, baby.
Wars Episode 3.
Yes, it is.
It is Star Wars Episode 3. And there's no bigger Star Wars fan in wrestling than Cody Rhodes. I can almost guarantee Cody Rhodes had a hand in that entire story.
Yeah, that's they trusted him with the with
Yeah, I'm
Outstanding story.
I could
Yeah,
literally
it is.
have yelled from where I see it, "You were the chosen one,"
yeah.
and it would have fit.
Yeah.
John Cena and Rock now have the high ground. These are all Star Wars stuff right here. You know, Michael Cole cursing on TV and then being the only one to come after Cody when it was all said and done
Mhm.
is
Help him up.
poetic.
Yep.
Yeah, The Rock using the same the same hand gestures that he did at the end of Bad Blood, and people are like, "What is he doing?" Now we know.
Tie it together.
Yeah,
Yep.
Who's the third head though?
could be Travis.
Who's the third head? I hope it's not. That would be so anticlimactic.
They
It's
set
gotta
it
be
up to be
somebody
Travis.
else. It's gotta
Travis
be
has gone
another-
anywhere for a while.
I can't even fantasy book this anymore. Like, I think that's where we're at with it. Like, this is one of those things where, like, I'm really just gonna enjoy this. Like,
Yeah,
really just
I had
enjoy
people
this. Like,
texting me who are casual wrestling fans immediately after be like, "No way that just happened."
Yes.
I had one of my friends that used to be on our podcast network who pretty much retired from podcasting, like moved on with life. Within 15 minutes of that show ending, texted me and said, "Put me on the show as soon as possible."
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
wanna talk.
Look,
Yeah.
they had this on everything. This was on major news stations. This was on Sports Center, ESPN.
Club Shay
all of that.
Shay.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Shannon Sharp talking about it.
John Stewart did his monologue
Yep.
on the Daily Show
Exactly.
comparing politics
Exactly.
to the John Cena heel turn.
Well, because
And
everything is pro wrestling, bro.
and it worked
Everything is
beautifully.
pro
If you
wrestling.
watch the monologue, I was like,
Yeah.
wow, this worked perfectly.
Nah, we're definitely super. The craziest thing to me before we wrap, craziest thing to me was 2 weeks ago, with 2 months to go before Mania. People are like, oh, I don't know about this Mania build. This da da da. I'm like, we have like 2 months to go, and just that quick. Now this is the best thing. Everything is lining
Ever.
up right. Exactly. This is the best. Cena turn heel. This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. We're exactly where I'm pretty sure they figured we were going to be. They knew
Triple
what
H
they were
said it
talking
best.
about. They know what these conversations were about, what they had in their back pocket.
Triple
I'm
H said it
perfectly
best
fine.
at the press conference. He goes, anybody worried about Mania now?
Exactly. It's just funny, like the lack of patience of wrestling fans is
Yeah.
super clear when we're 2 months away from Mania and people are upset about the Mania build.
Yeah,
Like,
the
what are you
irony
talking
of it for me was because WWE posted these videos. John Cena did Make-A-Wishes before the events.
about? Yeah,
He did like 5 to
he didn't
7
forecast
of
anything.
them.
He didn't forecast anything.
5 to 7 of them.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what those kids felt in the crowd.
Yo,
Yeah.
I really do think that, like, he doesn't have to say anything right now. To all the people that are just like, yo, we should have been on Raw. I'm like, yo,
Yeah,
He
let
wouldn't-
let
he'd
this
be-
one breathe.
He'd
What's
be
he
on
gonna say that's
SmackDown.
gonna be more effective than what we just saw?
this is perfect.
Yeah,
Like,
let
this
let
is
that
Yeah.
breathe. The next time we see Cena, we're gonna know. You know what I mean?
Oh
We're
yeah,
gonna-
he
we're gonna know.
posted. He's been posting a lot. He posted the them walking through the crowd. He posted basic thugonomics again.
Mhm.
I think he gets
And he's
fresh.
still-
He probably
He's
get
still
Travis
tweeting
Scott to do the
normally
thing.
too. He's
Black tee, black jeans, black Tim boots.
Yeah, and a
I'm-
Travis Scott song.
Yeah, I think this is also the first time, and someone has to correct me. This is the first time I think John Cena wrestled in all white shoes too, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, he's playing his little seeds.
Mhm.
Mania, right around the corner.
Yes,
Elimination
sir.
Chambers in the books. We got Revolution this weekend. With that being said, this was episode 117. Rick, for starters, let everybody know what you got going on, where they can find you, the shows, things of that nature.
Mhm. All right, it's going to be a fun one. All right, let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is King Rickie Rozay of Kings of the Rings podcast. We just finished our 401st episode, and big shout out to A.O. Baker, who personally gave us a brand new theme song, which is all of the hot fire. So do check it out. It is awesome. It's on the socials. It's all over the place. AO put it up on streaming. Find Kings of the Rings podcast at KOTR_podcast across all social media outlets. We do a live show every Tuesday at 7 with the finalized show coming out Thursday mornings in audio and video. Kings of the Rings podcast is a member of Wrestle Addict Radio, home of the Brace for Impact podcast, the Young Lions Perspective podcast, and the Fretzelmania podcast. 4 shows going out and multiple shows going out a week covering Impact, AEW, TNA, NXT, WWE, all of that stuff. We got something for everybody. We are known as the cure for the Common Wrestling Podcast Network. Find Wrestle Addict Radio socials at addict_wrestle on Twitter and at Wrestle Addict Radio, all one word, everywhere else. If you want to find me personally, you can find me at Ambassador Biggs across all social media outlets, BIGZ Ambassador Biggs, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, some people's DMs, less people's text messages, BIGZ Ambassador Biggs.
Yes,
Man,
sir.
he cooked.
Birthday, what up?
Well, that's gonna be a tough act to follow.
That's tough to follow, guy.
I'm a
Very
GM of
tough.
I'm a GM of a wrestling podcast network. I got to remember all of this off the top of my head every time. It's like clockwork to me. Like,
I love it,
don't worry
man.
about it. Don't worry about it.
That was awesome. Well, I go by birthday. You can find me on all my socials at birthday audio. And every Monday and Friday we do live streaming here. We're a couple of hours before Raw and SmackDown. I have like a couple of my artists or a couple of my producer friends, and we make beats or we do live raps right before Raw and SmackDown, and then we just tune in, tap in, we watch. It's usually me and Donnie Durag in here. That's our studio in here, Birthday Audio Labs. And yeah, tap in, man. We're just here for all the chicanery, shenanigans, and all the good times, man. And yeah, man, thank you guys so much for just including me, man. I'm just like really like, it's a really inspiring space to be in. Also being in the creative space, we kind of need to be creative all the time. And to me, like right now, nothing is more inspiring than wrestling on every facet. So that includes the community, the people that are part of it, the people that are producing the content like this, to the shows, like everything. Like I love it. So again, thank you guys so much, man, for real. And I can't wait, man. Yeah, thank you guys for real.
Much love, brother. We appreciate you pulling up, man. Most definitely, most definitely. It's the kid CHADLAW, Chad Low. I'm right here right now. You can catch me on some CL First Listens that are dropping every single time you go to my page. You'll see them up there. New album reviews. Got some new ones coming for y'all. You know what I'm saying? We got some more content coming in the Ringside Club, man. Get them asses dropping 316. Make sure you check that out.
Absolutely.
Mandatory acquisition, you dig?
316 day, wrestlehats.com. I'd be remiss if I don't mention there's a third member of this podcast, and his birthday is this weekend. So
Birthday
we're going to
bug.
sign off. Happy birthday to the good sir,
Happy
Blaine
birthday, my
Boogie.
boy.
Y'all
Happy
have seen-
birthday.
I mean, birthday is happy and happy birthday. You know what I mean?
Happy birthday.
There you
Now
go.
it's really your birthday.
Boogie.
I have a
Exactly.
birthday for birthday.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
With that being said, man, my name is AO. This has been episode 117 of the Ringside Club. Ain't nothing else left to say but peace. So peace.